It's been a year that I've been using the Galaxy S25 and 4 months that I've been using the iPhone 17. I took thousands of pictures with these two phones in Vienna, Paris, Tehran, Venice, and many other cities from different people and scenarios, and today I'm gonna show you which one is better at taking photos. Starting with the main camera, they have a similar sensor size, but the Galaxy has a bit of a wider focal length. In practical terms, it means that when taking a photo, in the iPhone picture the subject looks a bit larger and there is less of a background visible. That, together with a lower aperture on the iPhone f1.6 instead of f1.8, helps to create a slightly better bokeh or background blur on the iPhone compared to the Galaxy. Also, generally speaking, at least for faces, the iPhone usually is on the warmer side, while the Galaxy makes a skin tone a bit colder. Also, it is often noticeable that the Galaxy photos sometimes have a bit of a haze on them, and that's usually because of shadows being raised on the Galaxy, while iPhone photos are more contrasty. This can lead to photos where especially eyes and facial features pop more on the iPhone, as you can see in the eyes of Maria in this indoor picture with the main lens. Or in another example where the saturation and color vividness of the iPhone is stronger, while the Galaxy has a softer look. The downside is that if you look at Maria's hair, it is more coarse on the iPhone. One annoying thing about Galaxy photos is that there is sometimes this haze in portrait mode too, and even though after processing it is greatly reduced, you can still see there is some of it left. This is not only visible on the Galaxy S25, but rather all Samsung phones I've ever had. It is even visible in the video. The iPhone videos are often a bit more clean, if you know what I mean, but at the same time, you could say the Galaxy video has more of a real camera look to it. These raised shadows on the Galaxy can also make the photos look brighter, especially during sunset and high contrast scenes. Generally, I find the Galaxy photos to be on the more exposed side, even though there are always some exceptions. Neither of the phones has a large main sensor, so if you want to get more background blur, you should take photos in portrait mode. Apart from color science, I would not say either of them has an edge over the other in terms of processing of the hair and separating the subject from the background. Also, pro tip, you can always either not have any hair or wear a hat to have better portrait mode pictures. The same goes for the portrait video mode, which is called cinematic on the iPhone. The processing of separation between background and subject is okay on both phones, but nothing groundbreaking, it still does look a bit fake. In terms of dynamic range, they are both doing a great job. For example, in this picture, you can hardly tell the difference between the two, even though processing this scene is rather difficult. And especially in outdoor pictures, I find them to be very close in terms of color science. The only notable difference is that the iPhone usually processes the grass less vividly. And also, like I said, the iPhone pictures on the standard profile are more contrasty, a bit warmer, and also less exposed. While the Galaxy has more raised shadows, which can make the photo look flatter, that's not necessarily a bad thing, it is just a different style. Overall, if I want to take a picture of nature, I wouldn't prefer any of them over the other. They are both great at what they do, especially if there is enough light and the scene is not super complex, the pictures are almost the same. There is also always this debate about which one is more quote-unquote natural. And frankly, for me, they are more or less close to each other and neither aggressively changing the color in the scenes. I usually find the iPhone slightly more vivid, except when it comes to food, where the Galaxy increases the saturation more. On the other hand, during sunset, I find the iPhone to be the one doing more processing and making the scene more dramatic than it was. But overall, I would not pick any of them over the other in terms of color accuracy and processing. The same goes for this video of Tajrish Bazaar that I took in Tehran. They are very close to each other. I had to stop the frames to see if I could spot any significant difference, and I would say it is not easily visible. In this other video though, during sunset, I do see the Galaxy being warmer and more vivid. You can very clearly see the orange color is boosted, but that also reflects the reality of the scene more. One great thing about the Galaxy S25 that the iPhone 17 lacks though is the ability to shoot videos in log, which basically means the colors look flat and dull, but you can then add them later in another software, whereas on the iPhone, the colors are baked into the video and you can change them even if you want to. For video stabilization, both of them are on par with each other, and I wouldn't say either has an edge over the other one. For taking photos of pets, usually the iPhone photos are slightly less blurry than the Galaxy. The iPhone usually increases the sharpness more on them too. For videos, though, if I had to pick one for taking videos of pets, I would definitely pick the Galaxy since it has a 3 times optical zoom, and when you are taking videos of your pet at a distance, you get better quality. Which brings me to the next topic, optical zoom. The Galaxy has a 3 times optical zoom camera while the iPhone does not, so when you zoom in more than 3 times, the Galaxy switches to the telephoto camera while the iPhone does digital zoom. This leads to the Galaxy having less background blur because the sensor size of the telephoto lens is smaller, but at the same time, higher optical quality as you can see here. Maybe the second photo of Tanya shows what I mean more. The Vienna Opera House in the background is more blurred on the iPhone, but Tanya looks much sharper on the Galaxy. Or here, on the iPhone, Maria looks rather blurry at 5 times zoom, while on the Galaxy she looks much better. If you zoom in further, like 10 times, you can take even better photos on the Galaxy compared to the iPhone. You may say, but Mo, what's the point of this? And to answer that for me, when I'm traveling, zoom photos are rather important, because it lets me see things and statues that are difficult to see with my own eyes. Also, for wildlife, the zoom is crucial. For example, this kitty would not have stayed there if I had gotten closer to take a picture. On the other hand, when it comes to the selfie camera, the iPhone camera has a rectangular, wider sensor and lens. What this means is that, for one, you can fit much more into the frame, which is especially nice for group selfies on the iPhone, and for two, on the iPhone, you can take both vertical and horizontal selfies. The second camera of the iPhone is an ultra-wide one, which is 48 megapixel, whereas on the Galaxy it is only 12 megapixel without the chance of taking macro shots with it. But in terms of optical quality, I find them very close to each other, and I don't find the iPhone to take better photos. On the other hand, I do find the iPhone ultra-wide camera doing better flare management in direct sunlight. You can also use the ultra-wide camera to take panorama pictures, like I did here from the city of Tehran. In terms of video, the ultra-wide cameras are also close, and I didn't find a meaningful difference between them, even for color science. For night photos, I also find them to be more or less close. Neither of them is going to take amazing photos in low light, but the result is acceptable and usable. Unless when it comes to video and there is some light in the scene, in which case the iPhone has very poor processing, and as you can see, the light reflections and ghosting are going to be all over the place. In short, I wouldn't say any of them is absolutely trashing the other when it comes to cameras. The Galaxy is stronger in zoom photos, it is on the colder side of things, supports log shooting, and the camera app is more comprehensive. The annoying parts are blurry pictures of pets, the haze sometimes on the photos, especially in a strong outdoor light, and the lack of macro for ultra-wide camera. On the other hand, the iPhone 17 is better at pictures when it comes to people, the ultra-wide camera can do macro shots, the videos look slightly cleaner, but it suffers from light reflection and ghosting and does not have a telephoto camera. If you want to see how these two compare to the Xiaomi 17 and Pixel 10 and see more camera samples, you can watch this video next. Thanks for tuning into Techmo, and I will see you in the next one.